What's up, guys, and welcome to Star Wars Wednesday. Now, for Star Wars Wednesdays, I have a lot of Star Wars minifigures, so I'll be splitting them up into categories for Star Wars Wednesday. And today's category is all about bounty hunters. Now, these first ones I'm going to be talking about all came from the same set, the Bounty Hunter gunship. So first off, we have Tsugi. I don't know exactly how to pronounce her name, but this is a pretty standard sort of minifigure. It has a chest design. She came with a knife and a standard gun. This is during one of the Clone Wars prints, so the eyes and the mouth are always shown to be rather large compared to other minifigures, which sometimes comes out creepy, sometimes it looks fine. I think it looks fine in this one. It fits the aesthetic of the character, so... And obviously we have the back printing, and she has this purple ponytail from the show, which is present here on the back. It is kind of disappointing that it's not its own headpiece, but it's whatever. So this minifigure is okay. It's not the best. I mean, it's like accurate, so there's not a lot to complain about. It just could have been a lot better, honestly. And up next from the same set is Embo. And I've always thought his character design was really weird. I mean, I liked it, but it was always weird. He has this giant headpiece. It's kind of like a frisbee. It always reminded me of. He's got these shoulder blades with like patches on it. And you see, he does have leg prints because he has this like cape or this cloth that he has around his waist. So if they were able to give it to him, I don't know why she wasn't able to get it, but I guess he has a more iconic look than she does. As you can see, he has some of his like ammunition slung on his chest, and he has some of these like bounty hunter print designs, and even the back piece still has pretty cool. It continues on with the slash and like his thinner, narrow body. Even the face, without the helmet, it looks kind of dorky, but it definitely looks like him from the show. So, but yeah, I like this minifigure. I think it's pretty well done. It's definitely better than Tsugi over there, but I like Embo a lot. Now, the next minifigure from this set is Singh. Because her face doesn't have a lot of other printing, it doesn't really matter to me a ton that the eyes are like a larger print than a lot of other minifigures. I think this is a really good Singh. Like I said, she has her own headpiece. She even has a back design with like, it looks like some syringes or some other bounty hunter gear on the back. And I like how even when the headpiece is on, you can't even see those, but I do like that they still go out of their way to put it on because they like the attention to detail. She even has her own custom legs, like I said. You can see she has like the gun holsters. They're connecting to her legs. And you can see her vest even with her ammunition and something gold's up in her pocket here. I like this minifigure a lot. It came with these last two, and it's really, I think, one of the only Singh, maybe the only Singh. I haven't really studied up. This is definitely the only Singh that I own, and it's a nice vibrant orange. I like the coloration of it. It's pretty well done. I like this minifigure. So the last minifigure that came from this set, it was just called an assassin droid. However, these are IG units here. They're bounty hunter droids, typically. Now, this one's arm, just over time, has become a little loose. The gun doesn't really hold on very well. It's pretty loose. And this also came in another set, which came with several other IG units. Now, the other set came with like 3 or 4 of these black IG units, which look pretty cool. And then the other ones it came with were this nice, like, polished silver one. They had their own set that they came with, and you got like 3 or 4 minifigures of each kind with them. So I like these minifigures a lot. And I mean, they don't really need to be any more like detailed than this. I mean, even the IG units that still exist kind of look like this. Now, what I meant by that is in the Mandalorian show, there's IG-11. The only real difference between these is that he's got his own like print on his headpiece. But it's kind of to be expected as time goes on. They evolve these to look better. And also, this is a very specific IG unit that they're trying to go for. These were just supposed to be sort of generalistic IG units. So for this one, they have a very specific one to go after. Now, I like this minifigure a lot. It has the standard gray. It's not really shiny, but doesn't need to be because the character wasn't in the show. And his headpiece is pretty well detailed. I like how you can see all the knobs and eyepieces. The only thing I have with it is mine, for some reason, the head just doesn't stay on very well. I mean, even like this one that I have over here stays on pretty well. But this one's kind of like floppy and like it bends over sometimes when I see it. It just doesn't stay on very well and doesn't look up in one direction. But besides that, I like this minifigure a lot. Now, these next 2 minifigures I'll be talking about came from the same set. I don't know exactly what the name of it is, but it's from a series of episodes from the Clone Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi goes undercover as a bounty hunter known as Reiko Hardine. As you can see, he has the tattoos and everything, and this is the gun he came with. Now, his vest is pretty accurate to what it was in the show. He's got even the leg printings, he's got the back printings with this thing on it. My one really only complaint about this minifigure was in the show he had a helmet, and for this set he didn't come with that helmet. Maybe in another version he had it, where he was in a different set with it. Maybe he came with the helmet. I don't have it if it did, but I kind of wish this version came with it too, because I think it would be a nice pick to be able to pull it off and put it back on. Now, the other minifigure that came in the same set as that one is this version of Cad Bane. Now, spoiler warning for the book of Boba Fett, Cad Bane makes his return. He doesn't have this getup. This is from the very specific arc where he lost his normal clothes because he was in prison, so he had to get like new ones. Unfortunately, there's no leg printing. They're just kind of boring brown legs. And he doesn't have the whole breathing apparatus that he normally does. But I still think these minifigures are pretty well done. I mean, you don't need more detail than just the blue head with the red eyes. His chest printing is kind of boring. There's not a whole lot there. Same on the back. It's kind of like the same exact thing, just minus the buckles. But, I mean, it's accurate to the show. It's not my favorite version of Cad Bane, but it works. It does what it needs to. Now, this is my other version of Cad Bane that I have. This came in a completely different set. I believe this came in the clone turbo tank, maybe? As you can see, his face printing is largely the same. However, this time he has, on the face itself, he has like the breathing apparatus connections. And he has this custom neck piece that is the breathing apparatus, which is nice. And of course, he has his signature hat, which really fits really well all together. I like how it looks from the back. There's unfortunately no back printing on this one. It's a little uninspired, but I don't know. It's not the end of the world when it doesn't have back printing. It just would have been nice because he just has like a jacket, but like you still could have done what you did with this. Like put some sashes, put some details. I don't think it would have, it wouldn't have been that hard. So I don't understand why they didn't do it, but it's not the end of the world. Now the front piece is very well detailed. I love how it nails his look. He's got like his trench coat here, and he's got all the details. You can see some of his like ammunitions in the bottom. I really like this minifigure. Once again, no leg printing, which is disappointing for how like iconic he was as a character. I mean, Reiko Hardine was in like 4 episodes maybe, and I mean, Cad Bane has been in a ton of episodes. So to see not a lot of attention paid to the rest of this minifigure it's a little bit disappointing. This is the second to last minifigure I'm going to talk about today. And this one is Bosk, the bounty hunter who is seen in The Empire Strikes Back. This is a relatively older version, I believe, of him. It's not super old, but it's definitely, they might have made a newer version since. His gun is just one of these like connector pieces put on the end of a standard gun. Pretty standard stuff for some of the bounty hunters. He does have this very accurate, very nice chest printing. Now, this minifigure is old, so some of the arm pieces don't move super well, so I don't want to push down too hard on these, and I don't want to break this minifigure, because I don't really have the pieces to like fix it together, and I don't really want to have to fix it if I don't have to. But this nice custom head model is very nice. It definitely is a Trandoshan, obviously. It looks accurate enough. It's a pretty scary looking head. I remember having this as a kid, and I always loved this minifigure. The chest printing is nice. It's very well detailed. He's even got the back printing, and he's got this tube coming out for where he breathes. I like this minifigure a lot. He doesn't have any special printing on the leg, which is a little disappointing, but it was in a different time, so like they weren't all expected to have leg printing. And even still, his legs don't have that much detail, so it's not like that much of a loss that it doesn't have them. Now, if you notice, there's one very famous bounty hunter that I've intentionally left out of this. That's because I'm saving talking about him for a future video, but I will talk about this specific version that I have of him. And that is, of course, Boba Fett, one of the most iconic characters from Star Wars, one of my personal favorites. This is one of the older models of Boba Fett back when the jetpack was connected to the headpiece. Now, as you can see, he came with this like sort of bazooka gun, which I always remember fondly from the game. I don't know. I think technically it's supposed to go in this arm, but I always liked it better. He's like looking through the eyepiece of it. But I think technically he's supposed to hold it in this hand. Oh, and I just broke this gray hand. That's really disappointing. I have a few more, but yeah, wow, that really sucks that happened on camera. I mean, speaking of which, this minifigure is pretty old. I don't know exactly. There are several different ones that are almost identical to this that came out around at the same time. So it's hard I'm not an expert, so for me it's hard to pinpoint exactly what version of this is, but I know it was relatively old. It might be one of the reprinted ones. I'm not entirely sure where I got it or how I got it. But I just know that this minifigure is one of my favorites, and it has that very classic look. There's no back printing because the jetpack takes up all of it, and the face is just the black with this piece that goes over it. And yeah, his bazooka, but that's really a shame that I broke that hand. I have a few other gray ones so I can replace it, but that's super disappointing. I will be talking more about some other Boba Fetts that I have in a later episode. But that should be all for today's March Minifigure Madness. We're talking about Star Wars Bounty Hunters. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video.
Farted on the track. Farted. Oh yeah. Yeah! We love that Dumpster Kid video. We all do! for more. Like and subscribe.
Hit it!
Turn on the post notifications.
Do it!
Even when you're on vacation, you'll
Yes!
get notified.